Basanhu still lives in a traditional Mongolian ger, or yurt, but she's given up her old nomadic life. For the past year, her ger has been based in just one place, in one of the sprawling shanty towns surrounding the capital, Ulaanbaatar. Like many people living here, Basanhu used to raise animals on Mongolia's steppes, but that life is growing harder and harder because of economic pressures, environmental changes, and a string of devastating winters that killed off huge herds of livestock a decade ago. Since then, hundreds of thousands of nomadic herders have packed up and moved here to look for work. Basanhu came to the city to live with two of her sons after her husband died. She gets a $50 a month pension, and one son has found construction work, so the family is getting by. But she admits that if her husband were alive, he never would have agreed to leave the countryside and their old way of life. Life on the city's outskirts is not easy, but it's become a typical way of life for Mongolians. With the influx of migrants like Basanhu and her family, Ulaanbaatar's population has ballooned. Makeshift houses and gers now fill what used to be grassland. Now more than half of the people in the capital, or 1 in every 5 Mongolians, live in these suburban ger districts without basic sanitation or infrastructure. There are some signs of improvement here. One kindergarten is being built with Japanese aid. The World Bank funds clean water projects, and residents can apply to own the land where they've settled. But unemployment is high, and conditions are particularly bad in winter, when the air is full of thick smoke from the homes heated with burning coal and garbage. This is another force that's reshaping Mongolia. The mining industry is booming. Foreign and Mongolian firms dig for coal, copper, uranium, and gold, like here at the Canadian-owned Boro gold mine. For Mongolians struggling to make a living off the land, these jobs are a godsend. At Boro, miners earn $800 a month, compared to an average $60 in construction work. But there are far more Mongolians seeking work than there are mining jobs. In Sunkhara, a town whose economy was badly hurt during the privatization rush of the 1990s, some of the urban poor have turned instead to illicit mining, alongside former herders from the countryside. These so-called ninja miners dig for gold with minimal tools and no official rights to the land. One NGO here is working to help the ninja miners form collectives and adopt safer mining practices. An employee, Tuya Damdimjants, explains why so many people have gone into this risky line of work, including her husband, Batur Tene. Their family's entire herd died in the harsh winter of 1998.
Тэгээд үнэхээр ямар ч орлогогүй болоод эхлэхээр төв суурин газар хөдөө манайх ч одоо эндээс 20 км-ийн санаасан төв суурин газар бараадаа тэгээд тэр өрхийн тэр хүн үр хөвгтөд тижих хэвээр унчраа өөр тэр хүнд энд орж ирээд нөгөө ажилгүй 20 хэдэн хүн дээр 20 мянган хүн дээр дахиад нэг хүн нэмэгдээд ороод ирж байгаа юм чинь ажлын байр байхгүй тийм учраас алтанд явж эхэлсэн 1999 оны намар явж ирсэн.
At the end of a long dirt road about 3 hours north of Ulaanbaatar, ninja miners have set up a gold mining camp. They can expect to earn $5 or $10 a day for back-breaking work in the pits or for trying to isolate the gold using dangerous chemicals like mercury and cyanide. Ironically, the mining industry, a last recourse for many former herders, is only making it harder for those who still raise animals for a living. Both official and unofficial operations use huge amounts of water, diverting rivers and leaving large stretches of pasture land unusable. Once this site is depleted, the ninja miners will break camp and look for gold elsewhere. It's a new kind of nomadic life, and one that offers no more certainty than they had before. At White Lake, Sagan Nur, outside the city of Darkhan, it's horse branding day. The Buddhist calendar says it's an auspicious day to tame animals, and men from 3 families are pitching in with the hard work. They all live in a more or less traditional way here, raising livestock and moving to different pastures throughout the year. Even with all the migration to the cities, some 40% of Mongolians still live as nomadic herders. But for Dolgor Ma and her family, life has changed too. They moved here, near the city, from remote Gobi Altai province, because they were too far from any markets. And that's another trend for many of Mongolia's herders, who can only keep making a living if they adapt to the changing economy. Living near a city, Dolgor Ma's family now gets twice the price for their camel's milk, and her son, Shinbayar, can go to school nearby in Darkhan. And that might mean a better future for him. But that's no longer guaranteed in a changing Mongolia, where urban life and mining are steadily replacing rural life. For now, at least, this family is able to keep its traditions alive, and Shinbayar's future seems wide open.